everybody. This is Dwight Peters from quarterwaters.com, the site for social entrepreneurs. Today we're going to find out how social entrepreneurs are using technology and software to change the food system. With us today, I have the founder of Buckybox, William Lau. Will, welcome to the program, man. Will, you there with us?
Hi, Dwight. Nice to be here. Thanks for the time.
Cool,
yes,
man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. My camera's acting up sometimes, but we're going to keep it going. Will, you can't stop now. We already started. Will, share with our viewers,
Great.
What is Buckybox?
Buckybox. Buckybox is software. It's web-based software, and we're using the power of software to make local food distribution more efficient and hopefully impact the food system by shifting it more towards the local and organics ends of the spectrum.
Now you speak about, so Buckybox is making it more efficient. How does it make it more efficient? And what were some of the problems that you noticed before you created Buckybox? What started this?
Okay, so I got involved with some friends who had been working on a local food movement. It was called Ubi. We'd got the movement up to about 3,000 people involved, and it was like, where to next? You know, there's 3,000 people passionate about local food. It was like an online community, and we ran workshops, and we tried a shop to sell you know, local gardening stuff, and we really needed to take it to a next level. And so we got together and we thought, let's do local food delivery. And so we didn't know much at the time, but we just brainstormed it and created a scheme. We thought we'd go and get local produce from local farms, we'd put them in a box, and we'd deliver it to customers, right? And up to that point, we had reached people that were passionate about growing their own food in their own backyards, and we felt that we needed to reach people that weren't inspired to do that, but wanted to have local food. So we designed this delivery mechanism. It was like cardboard box, local food goes in, and you know, we didn't know at the time, but this is a very common thing worldwide. It's called a box scheme. In America, they're called CSAs, community supported agriculture. But we were in our own world. We thought we were onto something, and so we reinvented the wheel as it turned out. And you know, part of the thing that we found quite early was, you know, when you're coordinating deliveries, there's a lot of things to handle. Like, customers will ring up and say, hey, I'm on holiday next 2 weeks, you know, pause it, or so-and-so starting in this week and so-and-so is finishing in this week. I like this produce, I don't like this produce, and that needs to go down into a system. You need to bill for it. You need to coordinate your supply, and you know, the ins and outs and logistics of running an operation, even on a small scale like this, which is, you know, it's these box schemes. You start out with, you know, 30, 40, 50. Hopefully, you get to the hundreds. But even at that level, you need a system, and we found that you're getting a bit of echo here.
Oh, on me? You're hearing me?
Yeah. Or myself echoing. Sorry. So yeah, we found that it needed a system, and I hacked together a really basic system that got us through. And the thought came to me that, hey, look, there's thousands and thousands of emerging schemes like this worldwide, and most of them are run on spreadsheets. And with proper software, we could reduce 2 days administration down to hopefully 2 hours, because we can automate billing. We can like take intimate records of each customer's needs, and also support the customer supports as they ring up.
All right.
So that's Buckybox, really.
There's a couple of things though. You said that you were a part of Obi. Is it called Obi? Forget my pronunciation.
Oh, so
pronunciation.
It's Ubi.
Ubi.
It's four O's and a BY, so it's out of our own backyards.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So you guys were
So
able to create a list. You said you guys had about 3,000 people.
3,000 people in the community that were really pro local and organic.
So when you started Buckybox, were those the first people you went to provide your service to?
The prototype ran Ubi for the first few months, probably 6 months, I believe.
Okay.
It's kind of an early prototype, and since then we've taken the whole system offline to build the production system. So we're a few months out from that. And then we want to launch that with beta testers worldwide.
All right. So how would it? I want to sign up. So what do I do? How exactly would this work? Walk me through it.
Okay, so you would when it'll be up,
Yeah.
you would go up and sign into the system, and we'll make contact. And at least through the beta phase, we'll need to induct your box scheme and its customers into our database and our system, and then we'll run you through the system. And then I imagine at stage 2 that we'll have a much more streamlined version where you can upload via a wizard and be a little bit more self-catering for.
And you guys just started, right? This was when did you launch Buckybox beta?
Buckybox, it's actually in private beta at the moment.
It's private.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's not fully launched yet.
Okay.
We're only testing with a few box schemes to learn more about the system. We've been working on it for a year now, and we're getting pretty excited about getting this out there.
No, I bet you are.
We're getting lots of inquiries, and we know that the software is needed.
Definitely. Well, why organic food? Why is that your passion? Why?
It's funny things. Like, I never thought it would be. It's just something that's turned up on my plate, and so I guess this is the thing with a lot of these projects. They turn up at your door, you do something, and it takes off, and you take the next step. And now that I look back, I remember, like, maybe 6-7 years ago, I made a commitment or an intention to do something about the environment. And now that I'm in this food thing, I look at the impact of the agricultural system on our environment. And so that gets me quite excited to be able to do something about that.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, huh? You said you were going to do it.
Yeah.
But speak about the
amazing.
impact. Why is it so important now? This site is about social entrepreneurship, sustainability, people that's making a change in the world. Why is organic food so important in today's world?
Okay, not a lot of people probably know that 99% of our food's been industrialized. It uses about a quarter of the worldwide energy resources. It produces a third of our carbon emissions, and about 15% of the world's oil supply. So we're doing research, and we think that over this next few decades, we're going to need a shift on the mass scale to organics to mitigate this issue. Like, if we can bring back a return to mainstream organic farming, 33% of the carbon emissions get taken care of like that. The energy requirements drop. And then my personal thing about this is, if we can improve the quality of food that we as people eat, we can improve the quality of thinking. And if we can improve that, I think that has that follow-on effect of more people caring about the world we live in and taking care of it.
No, I definitely agree, and you make that's actually a great point. If you can improve the food that you intake, that could that could do a lot for the way how we think and how we think about the world and how we use the resources and how we actually take care of the resources. That's very interesting. What?
It's.
Oh, go ahead. You want to say something?
Oh yeah, I was to say it's a very powerful snowball effect. I think it's probably not talked about much, but personally, I think if this starts to happen, you know, the acceleration of returning to a greener planet is just immense. It's colossal.
So why you're for profit, right? Buckybox is going to be a for profit business when you guys.
No, it's a good question. We are a social enterprise, so we use the tools of business. We charge a fee. We generate income. Everyone gets paid well. But there's a difference. We put the priority on our directive, which is in social environmental, above the profit directive. And this is important because when you start out small, everybody's thinking quite idealistically and we're operating on our values. But as a business scales up, eventually, in the current business structures, especially in America, your fiduciary duty is to maximize profit, and that starts to contravene the values which you started with. So in our shareholders agreement, we've expressly stated that all the owners of this business have put the social and environmental directive above the monetary directive. And then, so we've set that mechanism in place, and we're operating on, we do take dividends. The current consensus is to take the minority of the profits and dividends to the owners, but the majority of it, we're giving that back to other partners in the food system. We see that Buckybox, in being in food distribution and in software, it's quite a high margin business. It's not a lot of overheads as you scale up because, you know, computers just were a bit harder, but you know, we don't have
and more efficient.
You know, it uses a little bit more electricity and a little bit more bandwidth, so it's scalable. But then there's other areas that are really important. You know, guys that are working on food awareness, guys that are working on agricultural research and education, and they tend to be non-profit without a business model that's quite as lucrative as the space that we're in. So we're closing that loop and passing the majority of our profits through to that side and these partners that we're setting up now.
And that's one thing I wanted you to really differentiate. You know, you are for profit, you know, and a lot of the people that come on the program, they are for profits, but the only difference is, and this is what people are starting to understand, you know, the terminology social entrepreneur, social enterprise is fairly new in the world. A lot of people are still getting familiar with the concept. We create a profit. The only difference is that our shareholders are different than a typical business. They're not going to, you know, most of the profits are going to a group of individuals, but it's going back to the community we serve, the people we serve. And that's the way that these businesses could stay sustainable in contrast to a nonprofit. You know, I speak about this a lot. You know, I know a lot of nonprofits are doing a great job, but, you know, once they're not able to fundraise or, you know, once money starts to dry up, you know, things get a little hectic. So by building a sustainable business where you can generate a revenue to take that profit to keep things going is a great thing. What is your background? So you built the technology for Buckybox.
Yeah, well, I let's say I hacked it together.
What does that mean?
It means you're not a pro. It's a bit DIY, and you're not doing it properly. You know you're not doing it properly, but it'll do for now. I mean, I played around with computers as a kid, so I'm comfortable with understanding technology and putting bits together. But by no means production kind of software is a whole different thing. But I came from, I guess, a run of startups that I 10 years ago in the mobile space, where I just got ungodly passionate about these geeky little things called Palm Pilots, and I wanted to work in the industry. It was emerging. No jobs no jobs in New Zealand anyway. And I'd returned back knowing this is what I wanted to do. So I ended up, I guess I ended up contracting myself out to software companies that were in the space in America, and doing web design for them. I didn't know how to do web design, but I was passionate enough to learn it very quickly. And over the course of a year or two, got to know a lot of pretty much the movers and shakers in the industry. It was a small industry, and when I went traveling, an old friend said, "Hey, let's start this company that you talked about." And so in Montreal, we started a software company, and it was this email software for that platform, and it worked crazy hours. It was, I think, I wake up at 7 a.m. I'd go to work. I'd drive instead of walking the 15 minutes it would have taken me because I couldn't wait to get in earlier. I'd work through to 10 p.m., 1 a.m. sometimes, and repeat it day after day, and I loved it. That kind of passion you get for something, and and so over the course of 2-3 years, we led the industry, and then I guess I took I had another software project that took off in that time too. So I was juggling a lot of things, and I guess I started to burn out a little, and I took a little bit of a step back, and I exited out of the businesses and reset the clock, and started getting really inspired by some,
Was there a reason why you took a step back? Because you seemed to have loved it. You were going full steam.
Yeah, it was. I guess I started losing the love a little, and it was a business partnership, and the partnership wasn't going as well as it could have, and so in amongst those sort of niggles, I started to lose the love for the project I was on, this software business, and as that happens, if you lose the love for what you do, you're very susceptible, to burning out if you're working those kind of hours. And so I started burning out, and in the end, I exited my own business. Eventually sold it to my partner, my business partner, and but it allowed me a few years off to relook and rejig the clock and see what was important, what inspired me, and I really wanted to do something to give back to the environment. I think most people do when they step back from the busy life and think about things and reflect. And just, I guess, setting those intentions. I don't know how it works, but it does. Over time, things happen.
It's funny because as you're speaking about that, the birds are chirping in the background and everything. You're in New Zealand and you're just enjoying it over there. I'm here in New York, and it's about to get that point where it's freezing over here. You're just, you're chilling. You got the sun nice and baking out there. But no, you're absolutely right. So you took a step back, you refocused, you reassessed, and you realized what was important, and you really wanted to do something that gives back.
Yeah, for sure.
How important is being a social entrepreneur today? I asked all my guests this question to see if they're going to give me different answers. Because like I said, you could have been in anything else. You could have went back and did another software company. You didn't have to do this. Why? How important is social entrepreneurship?
It's a sort of multi-dimensional question to me. On the physical level, you look at this world and the crux point we're reaching, and in environmental issues and energy and all sorts of stuff, social. It seems like we need major change. So on that level, it's really important. And I see social entrepreneurship and social enterprise is one of the many tools we have that can cause major impacts because it's scalable. The tools of business is scalable. So on that level, yeah, I believe it's very important. But it's not like, hey, it's not like we all got to do this stuff. I don't think it's like that. I think it's we all will find our own place for what excites us. And for me, I know the tools of business, and it became natural to get in there. And if you've got that burning passion or itching thing to get into this, then go for it.
Just do it.
But yeah, just do it. But yeah, I don't think it's like I've got to be. There's so much stuff out there that you can contribute into. There'll be a vehicle for everybody, and yeah.
So what are some of the hurdles you had to overcome? You guys didn't really launch it. You said that you're still private, you're still in beta. But so far, what are some of the hurdles?
Okay, so good question. I guess we are trying a new kind of personal organization within the business. We're incubating within Inspiral.
Okay.
Which, have I talked about that yet?
No, matter of fact, speak on that brief. What is Inspiral?
Okay, Inspiral is an interesting model. It's a really new model of people working together. It takes away from the traditional hierarchy that we've seen with a command and control sort of system where, that's really optimized for quick decision making. We mesh together more like a network. So the decision making and the control and the power rests with the individual. It was formed by a collective of change makers, I guess. First and foremost, change makers, people that were really doing awesome stuff in grassroots nonprofits with a heck of a lot of talent. And that talent was technical in nature. So we started building websites, software, but working in a more co-creative, collaborative way, and that Inspiral's grown from a handful of people to now probably bordering on 40 people.
Okay.
And we're now incubating 4 startup businesses, of which Buckybox is one of them.
Okay.
So going back to the hurdles, it's such a new way of organizing that we're experimenting. We've tried not going for finance, not going for investment, and trying to see if we can do this within this new structure. And we've found that having capital helps a lot. I think it helps us not get sidetracked onto these other projects. And to be in a startup, I believe you have to be all in. That's my experience. And every startup I've seen that has reached success, you need all in 150%, 200% with that burning passion. And I think that when you get sidetracked onto other projects, you don't get that. So we're in this process of regrouping now, and we've reached that point where no, we're not going to do 50%, 75% of our time in Buckybox, but we're going to go full bore. Yeah, I mean, it was always a commitment there, but I guess we were trying a much more, free approach to working together, and without a lot of, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's just, I guess, bringing it back to something that's more what you see in a normal startup where people are 100% in. That's one of the hurdles. We've had a few hiccups with the software. We've rebuilt it a few times, and I guess I should know this. We kind of need to just release our stuff.
Just get
release
it out
it out early. Get it out there. I mean, with any startup,
Wait, Will, are you the one? Are you? Is it safe to say? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But are you the one that would like to hold on to it first and just try to make everything as perfect as possible before you get it going?
Yeah, yeah, you got me. The perfectionist nature, which is great for design, but you kind of got to get it out there, get the feedback and the revenue streams going. You know, if you don't get the revenue streams going, you're an academic project. You know,
you're just a class project. So, what is some advice would you give to entrepreneurs? So, I guess social entrepreneurs. I guess you're saying it right there. One, try to get the product out as quick as possible, generate some revenue, and just learn from the comments. Learn from what people say.
Yeah, and even more like start with what you've got today. What can I do that a lot of people can think about. I'd love to do this and this, and it's so far away. But I think I've seen that most projects, that end up being hugely successful starts right now. Starts like, what can I do right now? Like maybe it was for me web design for this industry. It's so far away from where I wanted to be, but it started me. Whether it's digging something in your back garden and wow, this is so cool, and sharing it with your neighbors, and then ideas come to you. So that's one thing. I think some of us try to think too big too early. Especially the intellectual people like myself. So
it happens to the best of us. I'm like that too sometimes. I'm just like, like if people take a look now at Quarter Waters, it's just a site. It's a simple site, and I just wanted to throw this stuff out there. I didn't want to. If I kept waiting until I got everything perfect, like chances are when people see this interview, they're going to see my Skype camera acting up. Like if I was going to wait till I got a new camera and my Skype wasn't acting up, none of this stuff would come out. So just go for it, man. Just throw it out there and just
It's like I think of what you're doing there, Dwight, and I was thinking, hey, that's how TechCrunch started, isn't it? It's like, wow, it's like he's trying to make a startup happen, and he thought he'd learn something about that first, and he started a blog, and it became TechCrunch. And what did it get acquired for? I don't know. What was it? 50 million or something? Yeah, I don't know. So many years later. So
you know what's funny? Not even to make this about me, but the reason why I started this site is because I wanted a mentor. Like I went to college for political science. I didn't go to school for business. And I fell in love with social entrepreneurship, and I wanted to know how people did it, and I couldn't find a mentor. So I said, look, just make a website and interview people and get them to tell their stories, man. And the people that I've had on this program, including yourself and the others, and the way how you guys are so willing to open up and tell, some of the things that you guys went through, the difficulties, and the fact that it's possible. Anybody could do it. If you have the right amount of determination, you can make it happen, man. So
and I read that when I saw your site, is that, hey, this is a guy, and I could see this learning process that, and it was like, you're doing it. You started from there, and this is it. It starts so small, and I guess thinking more, if you're talking about a social enterprise, first you need, outside of the doing something for the environmental social, you do need to have your wits about you for a business model, and so a lot of people can go into this and try something and learn the hard way, but there's just some simple tools like figuring out what is the market size for your business, and that'll be your ceiling. And if that ceiling is not big, like some ideas sound fantastic, and then you crunch the numbers and you go, oh, if I capture the whole market in this country, it's only, it won't cover my salary. To stop now, or reinvent, come up with creativity till you push through to something that can work.
Definitely.
So
are we leaving anything out?
No, I guess. I think you've covered a lot of stuff in your previous podcast there, Dwight. Like I think one of the guys is saying worst case scenario. I think about that a lot. You don't dwell on the worst case, but you plan for it. And if you plan for it and you pump it back into those figures, you go, hey, if this doesn't work, and I'm left with this customer base, then this is the revenue I'll get given these expenses, and oh, it's still viable. Oh well,
Keep
then
going.
then keep going. Because in my experience, you find that the unplanned stuff will come up, and what looked like a really good plan
Well,
gets chipped away and chipped away. And if your worst case is down here and you're still viable, then sweet.
nice. Keep it
Yeah.
going. It's not that bad. Well, man,
Yeah.
I think what you guys are doing is great, man. And you know, there's a lot of people, as you can see with the whole Occupy movement going on. You know, there's a lot of discomfort with the way how the things of the world is going, especially business and the way how businesses interact in a social manner. And you know, to see guys like you and other people on the program that are making a change, that are starting to make a change and actually make that happen, it's a great thing, man. It gives hope. It gives hope to the future. I'm not trying to sound like, you know, don't pull out the violins and start playing for me. It just, you know, gives a lot of people a lot of hope that, you know, things can change. You know, so
Yeah.
it's great, man. Continue the great work. When you guys officially launch, you know, so a little time after, I would love to have you back on and you know, tell us about the journey as well, and you know, some other of the learning curves that you guys experience along the way. Cool,
Okay, fantastic. Hey, thanks for your time there, Dwight.
man. Thanks for your
Nice.
time. Enjoy that New Zealand weather. It looks like it's 80 degrees. It looks nice and sunny. You got birds
It's-
chirping back there. Well,
Yeah,
thanks for coming on the
can't, yeah.
program, man.
All right. Thanks, Dwight. Cheers.